Hello, Oracles. Well, Tesla stock traded a little bit up today, outperforming the market. The market was basically flat, down slightly, kind of bracing themselves for the FOMC meeting that's going to be going on tomorrow. So the FOMC meeting did start today. We get the official word tomorrow from Jerome Powell. He will be coming out around 2:30 p.m. Eastern time to discuss what they discussed, what they're looking at, what they think they're going to be doing for rate hikes. My guess is they're going to be doing a pause, but don't forget, this is the first meeting that they have had since July. So there's a lot of stuff that he's going to be discussing tomorrow, and the market's just kind of bracing for this. There's not as much uncertainty going into the meeting tomorrow. We're basically expecting a pause. So what we're really waiting on are the Fed's thoughts on what we had seen over the last 2 months for all of the data that came in. So we'll get into all of these details in just a minute. All right, so looking at the charts today, again, staying in this upward channel that we are on right now, we do have a little room. So if the market kind of gets a little more uncertain tomorrow before the meeting, could dip down a little bit before we bounce into this. Heck, we might even see a drop down. Maybe the wick comes down enough to fill that gap down at 256. I don't think there's enough uncertainty to make that happen, but it's possible. And then perhaps at the meeting itself, we come back up and close above that to stay within the channel. We will see how that trades tomorrow. Again, we are still at 56 for the RSI, right in the middle. And as I had said before, if we are going to stay in the same trend we've seen all year long, going from overbought to oversold to overbought, we've most recently hit the oversold range, heading on up to that overbought range if that's the trend we are going to continue. And if that is the trend that we are going to continue, that would follow right here along with our upward trend and would make a lot of sense. Especially if the market is anticipating a pause tomorrow, we could see that pause come and then the market rallies afterwards. And if that is the case and we end up rallying after the Fed meeting, we may end up pushing up to this 280 level here, getting close to filling this gap at 289.52. So really the biggest things that we're looking forward to tomorrow from the Fed are just kind of their thoughts on what we had seen from all of the CPI, PPI data, the jobs reports, and everything that we had seen over the last 2 months. Now, don't forget, we have not had a meeting since the end of July. We did have the Jackson Hole Symposium. We got some information from the Fed at that point, but not a real true FOMC meeting. So this is the first time we're going to be hearing the Fed coming out discussing what they felt about the jobs market finally seeming to soften a little bit, the housing market showing some signs of cooling off. So it'll be the first time we're hearing this, and it'd be nice to hear the Fed's reaction to all of this along the way. So again, all of that data that we had gotten kind of leads us to believe that we are going to be getting a pause. Again, my feeling is because they don't want the market to rally too fast, especially considering oil prices are going up, they're going to be playing this out as oil prices are going up, so we can't rule out another rate hike. We have to be careful with this. We still have to go data point to data point. We have seen the headline number for CPI creeping up a little bit over the last 2 months, but the core number is still coming down, which is good. We're starting to find that balance. The divergence isn't there. But with oil prices going up, is that going to cause the Fed to just kind of be a little uncertain and maybe themselves say, hey, perhaps when we get that meeting on November 1st, maybe we need to do another rate hike? I personally don't think they need to do that, but it could be something that they discuss tomorrow to kind of keep the market from really just rallying all out after this. And this morning, we got out the Tesla insured vehicle numbers for China. Tesla Chan posting out August 28th to September 3rd, they had 11,800. September 4th through 10th, there were 10,700, and September 11th through 17th, there's 8,500. So now the question is, why is that number coming down? Typically, the last month of the quarter, Tesla decides to focus more on the domestic deliveries, which would mean that those insured numbers should be going up. Couple reasons for this. One, we just had the Model 3 Highland, which people have been waiting for, just finally got approved. So there's a lot of Model 3s that people are not purchasing at the moment because they're waiting for them to get approved. Those most likely won't be going out until next week or the first week of Q4. So that could be a bit of that chunk right there. Also, Tesla's not focusing on those domestic deliveries as much anymore because they've been smoothing out the delivery wave. So we have been seeing that, halfway through that last month of the quarter, they start working on those exports again to get those overseas. And so that could be a reason for this lower number as well. Again, it's nothing I'm too concerned about. For me to see this lower number, not a big deal. We already knew that we were going to be seeing a lower delivery number for Q3 anyway. So if they're really focusing on this, focusing on getting the Highland out, we have been seeing some of them over in Europe already. So this to me is perfectly fine. I'm not concerned. They already laid down the groundwork for a lower than expected number coming in Q3. So, hey, maybe they're actually going to do a better than expected number than what people are forecasting. And as far as I'm concerned, if they match or beat Q2 numbers, that's going to be a big win. Many people are forecasting that they're going to come in under Q2 numbers. And so if Tesla does end up beating that expectation or beating Q2, that could mean a big rally going into earnings. And then, of course, we do have the Cybertruck event that's coming up at some point. We still haven't gotten any official word on this, but the exciting things that we have for Tesla coming out are still building up. Lots of exciting things coming out. We just kind of haven't heard anything about it recently. So the stock price has been going up. Again, we are on that upward trend. We just haven't seen anything that's going to just like really push us much higher. That could be coming. We have some catalysts that if they lay out, if we get a good FOMC meeting tomorrow, we get the news about the Cybertruck event, we end up getting good production and delivery numbers on October 2nd, and then we've got earnings coming up in the middle of October. Lots of good things that could potentially cause us to continue this upward trend, pushing to test that $314 level. So again, looking at the levels here on the way up, we're looking at filling this 289 gap. Above that's going to be $300, and then above that is the 314 level that we just could not break. There is a little bit of a kind of resistance at the 308 level. It's not super strong, but it could cause us a little bit of a pause on the way up. So this is what we could potentially be seeing on the way up. Again, maybe this week we push that 280 level. Maybe next week we start pushing up a little bit higher. Production and delivery numbers here on October 2nd. Maybe we have filled that gap and start testing 300. And then after that, we could be rallying to test that $314 level going into earnings. We just have to wait and see how time is going to play out. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Not a lot in the news. If there's anything that I missed, please leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think we are going to be seeing for the rest of the week as the market reacts to the FOMC meeting. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great one.